All right. What is up, everyone? Welcome to Damian Gerry Realty Group YouTube channel. I am super happy to be able to deliver today's video to y'all. So sit back, relax, and watch this episode because you won't want to miss it. All right. So, when I first started making phone calls in one of my other episodes, I actually did some phone calls with RedX, and I'm not paid by RedX at all. I just I'm like everyone else. Go in, try a new system, kind of go from there, type of thing. Well, what happened was that, well, unfortunately, um, I ended up using RedX for a solid month, right? And I went into FSBOs, I went into expireds, both of those. And now to let you guys know and gals know, I'm here in Southern California, okay? So I literally was making phone calls like y'all saw me on the video, and even more than that though, I was literally every day for 3 hours hitting the phones all day, like literally 3 hours at least. So what was happening here was I got the most frustrated individuals that you could ever ask for. I don't know if it was like they knew the heat was coming up for summertime, because right now it's May 17th. So that's that. But the big thing here, you guys, is that everyone that I called pretty much was super upset. Every single one of them, pretty much. And, in other states, I understand it like this. And this is some really good advice for all of you that are just starting in real estate as a realtor or an agent, is this. When you go on RedX, okay, be prepared, depending on your market, okay? Once again, depending on your market, be prepared for the people that are going to be rude as hell, because it's going to happen. Now, you have to understand, especially in my market here in California, you have to understand that these people, you're not the only one calling them. It's also about 40 to 50, maybe even 100 other people, realtors and agents alike. They're all calling. Every single one of them. They're all calling. So you have to understand, this one person is getting hit up like 50 to 100 times in one day. And they get this daily. So for me, I thought about it like this. Like, I need to go after blue water, right? Everyone at this point in my head would be thinking about this. I need to change something. I need to do something else. I need to change. And so I gave RedX the best shot that I could do. And that was fine. It is what it is. But in this time, that you're doing all this work, you are going to understand and kind of forcefully think to yourself like, okay, I got to do something different. And this is where your kind of hard work and the stuff that you go through, that, you as a professional, you're going to go through, and you're just going to have enough. You're going to just throw in the cards and say, enough is enough. I'm done. I can't. I don't want to waste my time every day doing this, and I'm getting nowhere. Just being flat out real with you guys. That's really how it goes. So what happened is that I first called expired listings. And I was thinking to myself this, if I go ahead and call expired listings, they're going to want to list with me because, well, whoever did it the past time didn't do a good enough job, so I should be able to stand out from the rest, right? Wrong. Absolutely wrong. I could not have been more wrong, sincerely. So again, I had to go back to the drawing board. I had to figure this stuff out. I had to go back and say, well, what can I do better? It wasn't me, it wasn't my follow-up game, because believe me, there's too many people that were like, I want you to take me off the list. I do not ever want to be contacted again. And sometimes I would contact them again. There's often times that I would call them 3 and 4 times in a row if they hung up on me. I would, because what I'm trying to do at that point is I'm trying to get communication with them. I'm trying to understand exactly what happened and why they're so sour and salty. Like, I'm not a saltine, for example, a cracker. Like, I'm just, it's not that way. I'm trying to come in with some really great understanding of what happened. And that's the way I came at it. So there were a few, just a few, that were really, how can I say this? They came around to being understanding about everything. That the fact that I keep calling them, they understand that I'm not going to stop until I have a little conversation with them. And then once I had that conversation, it was like they kind of started spilling out to me. And then there's one guy specifically that he literally started harassing me. I called him once and that was it. And then he called me from another phone and then went through all of this BS of telling me I'm going to report you. You don't know anything. Like just super salty for no reason. And I didn't do anything wrong to him. All I'm doing is my work, working on my business and calling him because he had an expired listing. That was my first phone call that day. This one specific day, it was one call, and that was the person that I got, unfortunately. So, again, if you're in California, expect for the people that are here, expect for them to be not nice at all. Now, I'm not going to say that it's going to be the same in other states, like in the Midwest to the East Coast. I have seen lots of videos from other people, and I see that people are getting really good responses, getting really great feedback. But here in California, not so much. At least my experience, not so much with RedX. Now, here's the thing, and this is not this is not an attack on RedX. I believe the platform to be great. It did exactly what they said it was going to do, which was give me leads, and I got it with the dialer. The dialer was also great. I have my own leads that I've used in the past, and the fact is that like this is all for real estate that I've used it for, and so they were really good. But whenever I tried to upload it to the dialer, there was a special way you have to do it. So I didn't really find it to be very user friendly. But their customer service is amazing. I have to tell you, it is absolutely amazing. Their customer service, RedX's customer service, that is, just flat out super helpful. They ask you questions. You can ask them questions. They're going to be super upfront with you. And it's just amazing. And it's like, it's one of those things that I didn't want to ruin my partnership with them, like as me being a customer. Because once again, y'all, I'm not being paid by RedX. I'm nowhere affiliated with being a partner. I'm an actual customer, just like all of you. So the big thing is that I'm giving you guys this fair and absolutely honest, transparent review about RedX platform. So take it for what it is, okay? Now, for the FSBOs, for every realtor out there, if you've been in this game for a little bit, you know that there's going to be some setbacks with FSBOs. I literally just put out a video on the FSBOs just last night. So if you haven't seen it yet, go watch that episode. It's the pros and cons of FSBOs. Now, and especially if you're a FSBO, for sell by owner, that is, definitely go watch it. It's there to help you. It's to give you the pros and cons of being a FSBO, the good and the bad. It is what it is. So the big thing here, you guys, is that, whenever I called FSBOs on RedX, everything was pretty much the same way. No, I don't want to pay a commission. If you have a buyer, you can bring me the buyer and I'm only going to pay you 1%. It's like, they're trying to call the shots as a FSBO, which again, as a FSBO, they have every right to do that because they're a FSBO. But for me as a professional in this industry, I am going to be deterred from working with them if they're being that crazy over the phone. And it's crazy because if they had met me in person, more than likely, it would have been a very different story. Because whenever you see people in person, it's just like a keyboard warrior, right? You can type anything you want over online. You can say anything you want over a phone call. But whenever there's just a weird thing that happens is that whenever you're confronted in person about something, you become so friendly. It's the craziest thing. Who would have ever thought? But that's the thing, you guys, is that FSBOs on RedX and even Zillow, it doesn't matter. FSBOs in general, they're going to usually be very off-putting, to you as the professional, as the realtor, because FSBOs understand, for sub-by owners, they understand that we as realtors, we want to get the listing. We get that. They get that. But the thing is, I think where a very major disconnect is that the property owner does flat out doesn't. There's usually it's just because they're cheap. They don't. I'm gonna say it. That's just what it is. They're cheap. They don't understand. They don't know what it is that we do. There's so many different other explanations. It's like they don't understand what we do. They just don't want to spend the money. I don't know. They want to wait a year until their kid goes ahead and gets their license, if they get their license. They have other deals on the table that they've already gotten over the phone, but ever so surprisingly, they don't want to tell you what those deals are, even if you're there telling them, hey, and this is once again, at least here in California. What I tell them is that have you ever sold a property before? And then they tell me straight up, what difference does it make to you? I'm like, okay, well, I'm just trying to understand if you have or not, because that's going to let me know how the process is really going to go on for you. I'm not coming at this thing all smart aleckly at all. In fact, I'm trying to, once again, help them, be of service to them. So I'm asking them these questions because I want to make sure they're not surprised. It's not me knowing more than them, but obviously in this case, I do. And especially if they're not seasoned, which most of the time they're not seasoned. So the whole thing with us professionals is that as realtors, we need to, our whole job is to make sure that properties are being moved, right? And I've said this in past video as well, is like, it's super important for us realtors and agents to go ahead and have that respect from the get-go with our clients. Now, we're here to provide a service. We're here to make sure that the home sells and do it within reason. But the thing is that if someone, this is like setting proper expectations, okay? If a client of yours, and that's a FSBO originally, wants to sell their home for $1 million, but their house is only worth $650,000, you have to, it's your job, it's our job as realtors and agents to make sure that we do have that sit down discussion and let them know very kindly that, hey, please understand that your house, I understand you want $1 million for it, but unfortunately, that's not what this house is. And then let's say if, for example, that they bring up, oh, well, my neighbor has, they sold their home for $1 million. And it's like, okay, well, let's go ahead and look at their property. So you pull it up on a comp and turns out they upgraded the entire interior of the home. They made a whole, what is it called? Santorini backyard, very Mediterranean resort style backyard. They redid the entire house. And then it could be worth that much. Who knows? But the fact of it is that you can't take an outdated home and try to sell it for $1 million. What's going to happen is that people aren't stupid. They're going to do their research. They're going to get with their realtors and they're going to say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Realtor, what is this home going to be priced at? What should it be priced at? Is it too high? Is it too low? What's going on? The professional is going to come back to the buyer and say, hey, this is what this should be priced at. It's not worth $1 million, but they're going to explain that, hey, there's another house that, yes, it sold for $1 million, but this house is definitely not worth that much. So it's just for FSBOs, it's always trying to understand what they're going through, what they're not going through. And then, especially with RedX. And another thing that I understood with RedX is this, especially with FSBOs, the same data that's with a FSBO, you can go on Zillow and find the same information. It's crazy how that works. You can save your money and go on Zillow, look for a FSBO, and literally you can pay, let's say $20 a month. Go on Spokeo.com. Again, this is not a paid advertisement or anything like that. I'm just telling you what I've done. I paid the $20 a month for Spokeo, and I can literally put in their address to Spokeo and figure out exactly what their information is and go from there. And it's as realtors, as professionals, we have these tools that will allow for us to vet all of these things. And you can do one even better. You can go through rpr.com and you can literally copy and paste the address into RPR, and RPR is going to give you all of the county tax records, literally, even of how much they paid for the house, even back in 2008. You're gonna be able to see that, how much they paid for it, who they bought it from. You can see all of that information. So Spokeo is what I use to be able to reverse engineer the search process for FSBOs. And again, it's better to pay $20 a month for Spokeo that you can use for so many different things, rather than paying, what is it? I think it's like $30 or $40 for RedX FSBOs. And yes, they give you the phone numbers. They give you all of these things, but it's really a matter of how much are you budgeting for this stuff, So if your budget is low, then again, there is an alternative way to do it. All you have to do is pay $20 for Spokeo. Then you go into Zillow, search for all the FSBOs, start calling them. That's exactly what I did. It was great. And so just my big advice here is, if you depending on your financial structure, if you don't have a whole bunch of funds, pay Spokeo at least $20 a month and then go on Zillow for FSBOs. Easy as that. If you're a realtor, then you can go into the CRMLS and then search for all the expireds and reverse engineer everything with that. And still you can go into RPR. You can use Spokeo along with that to kind of stack it up like a supplement stack, if you will. So that's going to be the best way that I suggest, at least if you're starting out. If you're not starting out, then hey, go into RedX, use the leads. You're going to be going through peanut butter all day long, but I am aware of people calling expired listings, then going and driving out to those expired listings, introducing themselves in person, and sometimes it was a very different interaction. So it's all about how committed you are to the business and also where your business is really serving. So if you're going to be doing it, if you're going to be going towards investors, it's going to be a completely different conversation with those people than it is with a FSBO or an expired listing. So that's just kind of that way. But expired listings and FSBOs, my experience with RedX, again, customer service was outstanding. The dialer was pretty easy to figure out. The actual leads I thought were really good. The phone numbers, it's kind of weird to say, because in RedX, they give you all these phone numbers, and then you end up finding yourself calling through all these phone numbers, and come to find out there's only one or two phone numbers that's actually the people. And then you have to sift through all that stuff. So, if you're going to use RedX, I personally do suggest using a triple line dialer so you can start calling more people at once. Yes, it will come down on the quality of the calls, but at the same time, you can still get out to more people in much less time. So, also the budget, it's really not that bad. I've started many businesses in my past, and I have to say this business of mine has been pretty much the lowest startup cost of any business I've started in the past. So, with that, I think I've spent about, in my first month of doing this, I probably spent about $500 on everything, and it was good. It was okay. But, always definitely go out to your sphere of influence. And for those of you who do not know what that is the people, your friends, your family, all that stuff. You'd be surprised of who's actually selling their properties and who is actually going to give you a chance and sell their home. So, once again, this is just the raw video of using RedX platform and the dialer and the leads, quality, all that stuff. If you have any questions, go ahead. Feel free to comment down below. If you are wanting to sell your home or look for investment properties, even off-market properties, go ahead, give me a call, 951-397-2050. My email, dgerryrealty@gmail.com. Go in there, email me. And other than that, I really hope every one of you have enjoyed the video today. Again, this is just a raw video of my simple review of RedX. And honestly, that's exactly what it is. There's nothing that I'm hiding in it. Everything is really there. And yeah, so if y'all want a little follow-up video to this, again, comment down below if this video helped you, what you want to see. If there's something specifically that you want to see about it, let me know. I can probably go into it and just, give a little bit of my 2 cents about my experience, a little bit more in depth. But so far, to my knowledge, I covered everything for y'all. So happy huntings to y'all, and I will see y'all in the next video. Peace.